Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 6, episode number 28. Tonight's the songs edition, Andy.
Very excited for this one.
Yeah, we've got an album to review. It's May 22nd, 2025. We've covered this band before, but only once. It's Winger.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite band, Winger. You know, Beavis and Butthead make fun of them.
Metallica made fun of them.
Metallica and Winger's just one of those bands that just has always been in that rut, and you go back and listen to it, and it's good music, good stuff. Here's the album, the debut, Andy, their debut, 1988, and so we all had this, right? Everyone had that I know of had this album. I guess I didn't. But
they may not admit it, but yes.
Yes. Now, Andy, before we start, I do want to give you something here to chew on. You know, we're big album cover fans, right?
Yes.
And I love my album covers, but when it's stuff like this, you know, I just can't. It's not a rock album. It's I just think it would have had more, maybe better sales if they had a cool cover art, cover photo.
I see this album cover, and I'm picturing something like Wang Chung or Pet Shop Boys or some.
Yeah, it's
Flock of Seagulls, some shit like that. You know,
it assists, I believe, with their downfall. Not that the art is bad, but it's
maybe not their downfall, but they didn't get the big start they should have had.
Yes. So here's the album. So it's Winger, 1988. It's their debut album by American rock band. The album was released through Atlantic Records in 1988. So that's big. That's big time. They got signed to a big label on Atlantic. The music, it says here on Wikipedia, music was radio friendly, but with a progressive twist.
Yes.
The lyrics, however, were typical of the age and genre. Do you agree with that? You know, lyrics, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
So what I found, every time we do this review, I learned something new. Here's what I learned. Kip Winger stated that the first album was supposed to be called Sahara, but the label missed it. And if you look at the bottom right, it says Sahara on the album cover right there in the bottom right. It's kind of hard to see, but those are the letters. He said that the label missed it when they went to print and just called it Winger debut album, just calling it Winger when it was supposed to be Sahara. I didn't know that. Did you?
No, I heard it. I heard they didn't like the name Winger. It was supposed to be something else, but I never remember the Sierra part.
And Sahara. So that's the name of the album, was Sahara. So here's the album, the songs that were released, the singles. Of course, they all had music videos. Madeleine, 17, Headed for a Heartbreak, and Hungry. So, the first album, first solo single was released August of 1988. So in the fall, kids are getting to school. You and I are, high school age, and good time to release this. It's a good rocker. The genre is glam metal. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, glam metal. I didn't touch on that one, but yeah, hair band, glam metal, I guess. Yeah. I don't like the glam metal one. That's kind of a cop out. It was just good old rock and roll is what Winger was, in my opinion.
A good rock band.
Not heavy metal, not hard rock, just good rock and roll.
Now, this album did go platinum, which is good. It's always good to get to the platinum status. And look who they toured with following the release of this. Here's the bands they toured with. Now, this really helped. Bad Company, Scorpions, Cinderella, Bon Jovi, Poison, Skid Row, Tesla. So I think that helped. May have a poor album cover, but you go on a band tour opening for these guys, you're going to get some airplay. Now, this was on. Now, check this out. Billboard 200 was on the charts for 63 straight weeks.
Yep.
So, that's more than a year, a year and a month or so. That's you're doing well.
A year and 3 months. Now, go back to those bands they opened for. It comes the whole categorization thing. Scorpions and who's the other one you said at the end there?
Tesla,
Skid
Row,
Skid
Poison.
Row, Scorpions, Skid Row. There's one genre of music. Cinderella, Tesla. There's another one. Bon Jovi. There's another one. So they had all these different groups, a few genres in a way that they fit in with.
Yes, Bad
Kind of.
Company.
Now, I'm not saying they're as good as or as talented, but Wingers kind of, I put them in the same group as Night Ranger.
Yes, yes.
It was just good rock and roll. They wore little flashy colors to fit in to get a jump start. They had the long hair. They had the hairspray. They were cute if you're into that. But
Tiger Beat magazine.
yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
put the headphones on, and they're right up there with Night Ranger for sound and genre, if you will.
Yes. So this album's 43 minutes and 50 seconds long. Once again, released on the Atlantic label. All this they had going for them, right? So here's the tracks. Song 1, Madeline, very good. Song 2,
Yep.
Hungry, very good. Song 3, 17, really good.
I used to love that song until I had a daughter. Then not so much.
Okay. And maybe overplayed. If you never
Yeah.
heard of Winger, you're gonna know the song 17.
That got overplayed like Cherry Pie got overplayed by.
Yes,
Warrant.
Warrant. The next song is Without the Night. It's a weaker song. And then they do a cover of Purple Haze where
Worst
they bring
song
in
on the album.
Dweezil Zappa.
I love my Dweezil, but that was a rotten cover. That's the worst song on the album.
So it's a different take on it. It's got some good guitar. It's a cover. I mean, it's a cover on it. It's a cover. So people like it, people don't like it, but Purple Haze is on there, kind of hidden in the middle of the record. Next song is State of Emergency, then Time to Surrender, then Poison Angel, Hanging On, and Headed for a Heartbreak. So 10 songs, 4 released as singles, very good. Some weaker, maybe some weaker songs on there. What I get, and I wrote this down, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. I get a sense of, there's a couple songs on there that sound a lot like Kiss.
You can hear the influence in there, yeah.
The sex lyrics, the Paul Stanley kind of stuff coming out. I also get Damn Yankees and Toto.
Yep. Well, Damn Yankees, Night Ranger is kind of the same thing. And also, you look at who he did work for. He did some work, producers, if you look back at Kip Winger's stuff. He was a bass player for Alice Cooper. So his stuff in there, some of the other people he worked with. You could hear it all in there. He was a studio musician, very classically trained.
Okay.
So it's good. He wasn't just some pretty boy who could sing and success came his way. He earned it. He knew what he was doing. That's why I respect him. I love his stuff. It was funny to me, the rips he got, like I said before, on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It's just what it was. Because Beavis and Butthead were the hard rock, really heavy metal, the Metallica, AC/DC, boom, boom, boom. That's not Winger.
No.
So, of course, that, was the joke. Winger wasn't the hardcore headbanger heavy metal. Doesn't mean you're bad or good. Just means that wasn't him, But yeah, his genre, he kind of had a little bit all over the board, which helped. Some bands it hurts when you're all over the board. Him it helped. His ballads were good. Madeline, Headed for Heartbreak were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Madeline's not really a ballad either, but power ballad.
Yep.
17 was a good song. Got overplayed. I got sick of it as I got older. But stuff like that, I think he kind of knew you got to put those on there to sell. And I've said it before, the other artists too with his, the music's real clean to me when you listen to it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Produced well.
Yep.
So here's the personnel. Kip Winger, lead, vocals, and bass. Reb Beach, another underrated guitarist, right?
Yep.
Reb Beach has been around a long time. Paul Taylor on keyboards. Rod Morgenstein on drums. And I do like some of the drum work here by Rod, but was impressed with, I didn't know Reb Beach, and I did a little research on him. Paul Taylor, I'm not a big keyboards guy, but, Winger had that. They had some keyboards. and that was the style. And so, and they've got a bunch of albums out. We reviewed their I don't think it was their second one, In the Heart of the Young. I'm not sure if we did that one, but I think that maybe that's the one that we did. But these guys have been around. There's a bunch of albums in their discography, and they have a lot out there, a lot to offer, some good music. But once again, underrated. They fly under the radar, and they're not a band that's pushed very heavily.
I don't think a lot of people turn it off when they hear them on the radio, but they don't put them on their Spotify playlist either.
Yeah, I think, and that's where they got kind of they got that bad rep, and sad to see, but a good band, good overall band, good music,
and still touring today. So who's laughing
music
now?
Videos are good. They're still there. Not in trouble. You don't hear them with arrests and DWIs and drug busts and TMZ material. Winger keeps it pretty clean. I did see the latest video the photo image of Axl Rose. Talk about a guy, like putting on weight and getting just weird looking. Between that and Motley Crue,
botching the lyrics,
lead singer, it's
lip syncing.
It's just it's getting bad, and so Winger, you don't hear the guys in trouble with the law, and not a lot of TMZ stuff. Good album. Get out there, listen to it if you get a chance. Leave your comments down below. And
check out the part 2 part. I kind of talk a little more about this album and why I think cassettes are better than streaming.
Be sure to listen to that.
Morning, that's out.
And next week, we'll see you next Thursday. Have a good weekend.